In every single state in India, there's one court that really stands at the peak of power and influence. Today, we're going to break down the blueprint of the High Court. We'll get into its structure, its incredible powers, and the huge role it plays in protecting your rights every single day.
So let me ask you this. What's the most powerful court where you live? Well, for pretty much everyone, the answer is the High Court. And look, this isn't some far-off ivory tower thing. It's the final judicial word in your state, and its decisions impact everything from local rules to your personal freedoms. So how is this powerful body put together? Let's dive in.
All right, so where do we even begin? Well, we have to go right back to the source, the Constitution of India. This is literally the blueprint that lays out the existence and the power of every high court across the country. So you'll find the ground rules tucked away in Articles 214 to 231. The basic idea is simple. One state, one high court. But, the Constitution is also super practical. To make things more efficient, Parliament can set up a single high court to serve two or more states. A great example is the Punjab and Haryana High Court, which covers both of those states and the Union Territory of Chandigarh.
So, who's actually on the court? Well, you've got a Chief Justice leading the way, along with a whole team of other judges. But here's the interesting part, right? There's no magic number for how many judges there should be. The President of India actually gets to decide, tailoring the court's size based on how much work that particular state has.
Okay, so we've got the blueprint down. But what about the people who actually run the show? Who gets to be a high court judge? And how are they picked? This process is absolutely crucial for making sure our judiciary is independent and top-notch.
Believe me, the bar is set incredibly high, and for a very good reason. To even be in the running, you have to be an Indian citizen with a solid decade of legal experience under your belt. And you can get that experience in one of two ways. Either you've spent 10 years as a judge in a lower court, or you've spent 10 years as an advocate, arguing cases in a high court. Now, even though the president makes the final call, they're not just making this decision in a vacuum. Not at all. It's what's called a mandatory consultation, a whole system of checks and balances. The president has to consult with the Chief Justice of India, the governor of that state, and the Chief Justice of that specific high court. It ensures everyone from the judiciary to the executive has a say.
All right, here's a number you should definitely remember, 62. That is the mandatory retirement age for a high court judge. It's a key part of the system that ensures there's always a fresh perspective coming onto the bench over time. And get this, between their appointment and that retirement age, a judge's job is one of the most secure you can imagine. You can't just fire a high court judge. To remove one, it takes a full-blown impeachment process in Parliament. We're talking the exact same really difficult process used for a Supreme Court judge. This is basically their constitutional shield, protecting them from any political pressure.
All right, we've covered the who and the how. Now for the really exciting part. What do high courts actually do? Let's get into their core powers, what's known as their jurisdiction.
This is maybe one of its most powerful tools. Article 226 gives the court what's called writ jurisdiction. Think of it this way. If any authority, say a government department or even a local official, violates one of your rights, you can go straight to the high court. And the court can issue these powerful orders, called writs, to force that authority to fix the problem. And here's something that might surprise you. The Supreme Court can also issue writs, right? But its power is limited to defending your fundamental rights. The High Court's power under Article 226 is actually broader. It can issue writs not just for fundamental rights, but for any other legal right that's been violated. That difference is massive. It makes the High Court the go-to place for a much wider range of issues. The High Court also has this really important title. It's a court of record, and that comes with two major perks. First, all of its judgments are officially recorded and saved, which sets a legal precedent that all the lower courts have to follow. And second, it has the power to punish for contempt of court, which means it can hold anyone accountable who disrespects or disobeys its orders.
But, the High Court isn't just an island. It sits right at the top of the state's entire judicial pyramid. So now, let's take a look down at the whole structure it's in charge of.
Think of it like a clear chain of command. The High Court has direct administrative control over every single lower court in its state. It's in charge of things like postings, promotions, and just the general day-to-day running of the entire state judiciary. So what does this system look like? Well, it basically runs on two main tracks. On one side, you've got your civil courts. They handle disputes over things like property or contracts. And on the other side, you've got the criminal courts, which are all about prosecuting crimes and handling trials.
Now, at the top of the pile in each district, you've got the district judge. And notice how the appointment process changes a bit here. It's not the president anymore, it's the state governor who makes the appointment. But, and this is critical, they have to do it in consultation with the High Court, which keeps that vital link of judicial oversight in place. And this whole system, this entire structure, is built on one of the most important ideas in our Constitution, spelled out in Article 5, separating the judiciary from the executive. The whole point is to create a kind of firewall between the courts and the government. This ensures that judges can make decisions based on the law, without any political pressure.
Okay, deep breath. Let's do a quick recap of the most important stuff. Remember the constitutional articles 214 to 231. The magic number for retirement? 62. The High Court's special superpower? That's Article 226, with a writ power that's even wider than the Supreme Court's. And finally, the appointments. High Court judges are chosen by the president and district judges by the governor.
So, when you think about it, from the court down your street all the way up to the state's highest bench, this isn't just some boring flowchart. It's a shield. It's a whole system designed from the ground up to be the ultimate guardian of the law and of your rights. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you see the architecture of this power, how does it change the way you think about justice in your